Fitzpatrick takes the snap, drops back, lobs it back right corner. Decker! He's got it! Touchdown! Eric Decker scores! And the Jets have won it in overtime!
This is the Jet Take with Ben Blessington and Kyle Fahey.
Welcome back to another episode of the Jet Take, the best and most inconsistent Jets podcast around. I'm your host, Ben Blessington. Joining me now, as always, Mr. Money, Kyle Fahey. Kyle, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty well. I think that intro was spot on, Ben, if I'm going to be real with you.
Yeah, that was just kind of came out of nowhere. I don't mean to be... I wasn't trying to add the best part, but I think that made it funnier. But yes, certainly our inconsistency the past few weeks. I take the blame on that. Kyle has been there. I mean, if we're on, I'd say we're an okay podcast. I will give Kyle credit. He has been here. I have been struggling with some time management, so our apologies for moving around the upload.
What are you doing? What are you doing in your spare time, Ben?
Kyle, working. I was up till 4 a.m. writing a freaking essay. Oh, there we go.
Is that what you were doing at the
4 a.m.? I actually, at 4 in the morning, literally in the study room, from 10 to 4, Kyle. I'm not even kidding. I went down the vending machine once and got a Cool Ranch Doritos, Pop-Tarts, and a Gatorade. That was my one break. Oh, and I spent 20 minutes watching Dave Chappelle. That was my break I took while I ate the Cool Ranch Doritos because I don't want to type with them. Anyways, back to the Jets. Yeah, certainly not pretty, and a long ways away from Week 1 in Detroit, or even coming off that Indianapolis Colts victory. 3 straight losses and 3 straight ugly losses at that. Todd Bowles is all but fired by the entire Jets fan base at this point. And then obviously the big news today that dropped: Sam Darnold has a foot sprain and will be out Sunday. So that means Josh McCown will start Sunday against the Bills. Or future Giants franchise quarterback Davis Webb could potentially go in if Josh McCown gets hurt. Then the Jets have a bye week, and the Jets play New England after that. Manish Menace said the Jets aren't extremely optimistic that Sam Darnold will play, but other reports made it sound like he probably will play. I wasn't supposed to go to that game, and now maybe I'm thinking maybe I should switch it to another game because I only would want to see the Jets if Sam Darnold's playing. So I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm not just a fair weather fan. But if I'm going to spend money to go down from Syracuse, New York to MetLife Stadium, I want to make sure I'm seeing the franchise future. I went to the Jets 2016 Jets-Pats game where Ryan Fitzpatrick's the quarterback. So, I'm all in. Anyways, you can follow our show at the Jet Take on Twitter. It's the best place to follow us if you follow.
But Ben, are you at L7 at 4 a.m. in the morning?
I am not at L7 at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Then you're not a real fan.
That concept seemed crazy to me when I lived on the West Coast, but then I realized that the East Coast games, it starts at 1, which makes it that much more ridiculous. I was thinking, 4 a.m., 10 o'clock game, and that's stupid. But, that's dedication. You can't hate dedication, but it's ridiculous. It's the same. It's insanity at some level. Anyways, you can follow us at the Jet Take on Twitter. It's the best place to follow us. If you followed us at all today, you would have seen some debate going on between myself and the greatest Jets receiver of all time, Rob Carpenter. I'm just kidding. Rob was on the show. I don't mind Rob. I respect him, but he was definitely wrong about that. We'll actually talk about that topic a little bit. But make sure you follow us there. It's the best place. We love going back and forth with fans and live tweeting games and just giving our thoughts on everything happening with the Jets. So follow us there. You can search up the Jet Take anywhere you listen to podcasts: iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher.
This is the greatest headline of my life. You ready to read this?
Save it till after the plug. All right.
All right, continue.
I'm not corralling you tonight, Kyle.
All right.
We're letting you loose tonight.
Okay. President Trump denies knowing Lil Jon, the artist Lil Jon.
Oh yeah, he was on the Apprentice. Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, who worked for him on the Celebrity Apprentice. There's hundreds of photos of them together. But I honestly believe Trump has no idea that his name was Lil Jon.
Yeah, the fact that was the headline that got you, I did read that and it was funny, but whatever. Anyways, let's.
Oh wait, is there more to this story? Uh-oh.
There's not too much. Well, there's a little bit more. There's a little bit more.
Uh-oh.
Actually, there's a considerable amount left. I'll let Kyle read it, and he can make some sound just while I finish the part.
Apparently he called him an Uncle Tom. That's not ideal.
Yeah.
Not great.
I don't know if he just misheard his rap name or something, or he's just racist, but We've already
that would make sense. Uncle Tom and Lil Jon. Well, Lil Jon's deaf, so he speaks weirdly. I could see that being confused.
We're in minute 2 of the podcast. I'm already talking about this. All right, Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, I'm reining you back in. We're corralling you again. This is why the world can't see you.
Probably mute.
You're in your true form.
Probably mute the callers, Ben. I'm just like...
Mistake
Nope.
We've probably made 12 times at this point, where we start the podcast without... Anyways, and last plug, make sure you go to turnonthejets.com for the best Jets content out there. You can find our podcast there. You can find plenty of other podcasts out there if you don't want to hear about Lil Jon and other Jets-written
Say it right.
content. What I said Lil. I didn't make it.
You said
too
little.
White. I didn't say Little John.
Little Jonathan.
I'm not that white.
Little Jonathan running around. He's outside playing.
Sir Jonathan. Anyways, so those are our plugs. Let's hop into it. I believe we have the Rockpile Report coming on any minute.
Yeah. They're probably drunk by now.
Let's do it's 7, what is it, 8:20? Yeah, definitely. On a Wednesday. Let's very quickly, 2 minutes, just do our brief recap of the Dolphins game.
I like
started late.
fast and quick.
We'll come back we'll go to the Rockpile Report. We'll preview this game, kind of talk Jets and Bills with them. We'll come back and then just break down the whole debacle, Sam's injury, everything. Do whatever else we want to do, and then wrap. But Kyle, just really briefly, your thoughts on Sunday, and then I guess you can kind of talk briefly about Sam's injury, but more against the Dolphins.
Frankly, trash. Offense, trash. Jeremy Bates, trash. Sam Darnold, trash. Wide receivers, efforts, trash. O-line, trash. Spencer Long, the scum of the earth type of trash. Todd Bowles deserves to be fired
for the man's character. Called him the scum of the earth. I mean, he has a broken hand. He's a pretty bad center.
Then don't play.
Yeah, but don't you think that? Okay, well, we're going to debate that Bowles should have pulled him after 3 of them, but
yes.
Continue.
Okay. Todd Bowles deserves to not have his job after refusing to protect the future of the franchise. There's no reason to leave Spencer Long in. There's absolutely zero reason. He's on a 1-year deal. It's not like somebody up top is calling the shots, oh, yeah, we need to leave this guy in. It's not like an Eli Manning situation. Spencer Long's basically on a 1-year deal. He's not performing well. He's hurt right now. He shouldn't be playing in the first place. He's been hurt for 2 weeks. Take him out of the game. That isn't a hard concept. I love the close-up that they did of Jonathan Harrison as Marcus May and Jamal Adams come up to him like, hey, why aren't you in? And Jonathan Harrison is like, hey, I don't know. I don't know why I'm not in. Because your coach is an imbecile. That's why. Todd Bowles is an idiot. I've been on this Fire Bowles bandwagon for 4 out of the 5 years that he's been here.
You've been on it. You were probably on it before literally anybody else was on it. You were on it after the Cincinnati game, 2016.
Yeah.
He was coming off
second season. That's the 10-6 season.
People were mad at him after the week 17 against Buffalo, but everybody's like, you know what? He took Ryan Fitzpatrick. They went, 10-6. They had the whole 5-game win streak. It was a great moment. I mean, literally one game, and you're like, this team doesn't have any heart. This coach sucks.
Yeah. I mean, you lost at home on 9/11. How do you lose at home on 9/11 to the lowly Cincinnati Bengals? That's pathetic.
I'll give you credit. You were there before everybody else was. Yeah. All right. Kyle summed it up well. We've seen the same offense for the past 3 weeks.
Dude,
I mean,
I'm calling the plays at this point. Like, you can literally just look at the formation. It's trips right, and then whichever one is on the farthest side is going to sit back while the other two block, go for a screen, or they'll do a handoff on 3rd and long scenarios. Like, this isn't hard.
It does feel like it's a high school playbook. It feels like the Jets have 20-25 plays. Like, I've seen the bubble screen to Nunwa multiple times, the bubble screen Eric Tomlinson multiple times, the empty set where.
Why the hell is Eric Tomlinson getting screens thrown to him?
I mean, their logic would be like, well, they're not expecting it, but when you've run it 8 freaking times,
4 or 5 times, yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're gonna expect it. Yeah, very rudimentary play calling is what I would say.
It looks like somebody who was not in the game of football and Jeremy Bates for the past 8 years. Yeah,
and it begs the question. I mean, like, I liked Morton in a certain extent, but when he got fired for Jeremy Bates, I mean, I was like, all right, I'm on board. I mean, this guy must really be something to fire an offensive coordinator that actually put up good numbers. But I would have much rather at this point have seen Sam Darnold with John Morton. But I think the good news is we're not going to have to. And John Morton's not an amazing offensive coordinator by any stretch. Let's just be clear there. He's a solid offensive coordinator.
He was all right. He wasn't bad.
Time heals all wounds, but I remember Jets Twitter being pissed at John Morton multiple times throughout the season. But yeah, in comparison to Bates, no question. We'll talk about the offensive line. We'll talk about the offensive coordinators. We'll also talk about the offensive line. We'll talk about Darnold's injury. But yeah, he summed it up well. Trash. The past 3 weeks we've seen the exact same offense. Trash, and it's put up. I don't even know what the combined point total is, but it's got to be under 20 or 30 in 3 games. They put up 6 last week.
You know who I feel bad for?
Who do you feel bad for?
The defense, because the defense played phenomenal.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't care if Brock Osweiler is the starting quarterback. When you hold an NFL offense to 6 complete points in a game, I'll give credit to Bowles for that. He's drawn up amazing schemes to stop teams over these times. I can't think of a really bad defensive game off the top. I guess the Browns game, second half, was pretty bad because we weren't prepared. But
yeah, sorry, I don't want to cut you off completely, but Todd Bowles is a very good defensive coordinator.
Yes, not a good head coach.
And yeah, and if I could fire, when the Jets inevitably, he's just a terrible head coach. He's not a good game manager, and he doesn't balance it well. But yeah, any team that fires their head coach or whatever, and then needs a new defensive coordinator, because that's always a good market when you're trying to hire a defensive coordinator. You can bring in a former head coach because that means they're a successful coordinator. Whatever. Yep. Any team that cleans house should bring Todd Bowles in because he's a fantastic defensive coordinator. As you said, this season he's had a lot of talent and he's put up some great numbers. Yeah, this was statistically his best defensive game. It was a terrific game by the defense. But then when he goes to the locker room, as Bart Scott so eloquently, was pointing out, it's just like, as a defensive player, I'd be pissed when Todd Bowles is up there. It's like, well, we got to get turnovers. It's like, what do you mean? We held them to 140 yards total offense, and we put up 6 points. The defense consistently every time the offense put them in a shitty scenario, the defense
got out of it.
The only time the Dolphins scored a touchdown was on a Sam Darnold pick 6.
Yeah.
And I don't really blame Sam Darnold for
Sam Darnold really and truly threw 6 interceptions in that game. 2 of them were dropped.
Yeah, I don't really, but here's the thing. That's different from, look, I don't blame Sam Darnold as much, and I haven't blamed him as much the past 3 weeks, and certainly his last game. We knew he was going to have rookie growing pains. Every single talented quarterback, from Peyton Manning to Carson Wentz, we knew they were going to be growing pains. A lot of interceptions. That's what I said. I think he's going to have a lot of amazing moments and a lot of terrible moments. That's what he's been. He's had some throws that have been terrific, and he's had some throws that have been pretty terrible, and he's had some times where he's shown he can establish a rhythm, where he's not just a guy who will throw, 1 touchdown that's amazing and then sucks the rest of the game. He shows that he can establish drives at a time and get some rhythm. He's shown some very, unique positive traits, but it's just the turnovers at this point. But it doesn't help when you have an offensive line that can't block for you, a center that can't snap for you, receivers who can't run routes or catch for you, running backs who can't do anything. And you're a 21-year-old rookie quarterback starting in New York with all the pressure on the world on you, and you're trying to learn a shitty offense on the fly. Anyways, we'll come back to that. We're going to come back to Darnold. We're going to come back to Bowles, the offensive line, Bates, everything.
Like Kim Kardashian.
I understand the joke you're going for there, but it wasn't.
Only certain people will get that.
You're trying to do the Parks and Rec thing, but there was a time and a place for it, and you just missed it. You didn't miss it, just didn't arrive. It wasn't there for you. You
know who didn't miss it and arrived?
Okay, there you go. That was a little better. You didn't have to sit. Okay. Anyways, but let's hit the pause on the Miami game. Let's bring on, I believe, is this the Rockpile Report?
I think it is. They're on Skype, so.
Let's go ahead and bring on, is it, which member?
Both.
Oh, all right. We got both members of the Rockpile. Oh, I'm excited. All right.
Am I unmuting them?
Or are you? I just did it. All right, there we go. We'll bring on both members of the Rockpile Report. Welcome, fellas. And for the first time, I will say...
We're not that drunk. Drew's 8 beers in. I'm on my 4th.
Are you out of your mind? Who? Oh, we don't know. It's from the 716. That's where we come from. That's Buffalo Bills country, all right?
I will say, you're not that far away from me at this point. I'm in Syracuse, New York, so we're not too far away. At some point, I definitely want to go to a Bills game and just experience Bills Mafia.
Ben will die.
Yeah, you need to. Just don't poop
Kyle, I've been to college for 3 months. I don't think I'd die yet.
Don't take a poop in the stands like somebody did at our game this week.
Oh, jeez. I fully rescind my interest in attending a Bills game.
We said it during our show tonight. First it was marital aids, now you're pooping in the stands. Come on, people, do better. Do better.
I love the dildos at the games. That's phenomenal.
I mean, is it though? It's really not, because the first time it happened, it was funny.
Yeah, not Monday night when they threw 3 on the field.
But now it's just incited a whole list of copycats. And here's the problem. You copycats will never be as funny as the first time it was done.
Okay, you know wait. No.
They have to throw something else on the field that's equal.
This is the wrong take. You know, I forget which hockey team does it, but they throw the octopus out onto the...
You're right. That's to just be a Bills tradition. It's dildos on the field.
Yes,
absolutely.
Dildos become a Buffalo Bills tradition. We will not become synonymous with vibrators and marital aids.
But you're already synonymous.
You guys are already up there.
You're already synonymous with breaking through.
Like Steven Seagal, just snapping necks. Like this was the movie Under Siege.
No, hey, whoa. We don't talk about Steven Seagal on this podcast. We refuse to acknowledge him as a U.S. citizen.
I'm like, how are they sneaking dildos in, by the way? Don't answer that question. I regret asking.
Ben, you ever see Neighbors?
Yeah, okay. Anyways, Drew, Chris, welcome to the show. It's always good to have you guys. I think a 4-person podcast is fun, especially when we have 3 knuckleheads. Actually, I guess 4. You guys are very close to Kyle. I've listened to your show actually quite a bit, even though I'm a Jets fan. And you guys do tremendous work over at the Rockpile Report. Although probably 99.9% of our listeners are Jets fans. If you ever want to or hear more about the Bills, you can follow them at Rockpile Report on Twitter. Great Bills account, funny, and very aware of the current state of both of our franchises. And I'll open up with this. For the first time, I think, really, I mean, I guess last year I was against the Jets, but I'm actively cheering against the Jets this weekend now that Sam Darnold is not playing. I cannot handle if Josh McCown goes... I'll explain why, and most Jets fans will perk their ears up and be like, well, what the heck, you're cheering against our team? We're only 3-6, You could win, be 4-6 at the bye, whatever. Yeah, barring some freaking miracle, this team is not going to go 9-7, 10-6, and sneak into the wild card. I've watched the offense the past 3 weeks. It's not going to happen. The defense, if they were paired with an actual offense, they probably could, but the offense is too bad right now. I cannot handle watching Josh McCown go out there, shred the Bills' defense or something. The team
he won't. Bill's got a good defense.
I'm not saying he will, but I'm saying in the nightmare scenario that he goes out there, shreds the defense. Bowles, who's been on the hot seat for the entire season, but specifically this week, given the injury to Darnold and everything that happened in that game, will now see, Josh McCown is my savior and my only chance to cling to a job because I can show management, like, look, this is what happens when I have a competent quarterback. They'll continue to start Josh McCown. We won't see Darnold, and he'll try to cling for his job and, try to get as many wins as possible, ruin the Jets' draft position, and stunt Sam Darnold's growth, hurt Sam Darnold's confidence. I mean, just, no. Lose the game, start Darnold after the bye, maybe win 1 or 2 more games, but continue Darnold's growth and go into second season, continue on the path. I cannot handle if Josh McCown goes out there and completely ruins what the Jets have going for them. I hope management's smart enough, though, not scared of that. But anyways, Drew or Chris, I guess we'll open it up with your thoughts, kind of the news today. Darnold won't be playing. You guys will be facing Josh McCown. It's going to be, if it is a Derek Anderson versus Josh McCown matchup, very 2007-esque. But I guess I'll start with you, Drew. Your thoughts on the matchup?
Well, I'll tell you this. It doesn't look like it's trending that way. What we might see is the NFL's worst nightmare. If they could flex this game if they could flex this game into a Friday afternoon slot, they probably would. Because what you're looking at is Nathan Peterman, most likely, going up against Josh McCown. The matchup everyone wanted to see this offseason.
Sounds great.
So, in just looking at what the matchup is, what I see, honestly, looking at it from our point of view, we talked about it on tonight's Jets preview podcast, was talking about head coaches who were starting rookie quarterbacks. And there's a dynamic there. And I mean, I've heard you guys complain a little about it while we were sitting there on mute about how bad your coaching staff was and how bad everything was and how it's raining fire and brimstone in the Meadowlands for you guys.
It is.
Well, here's what I see. I see coaches across the NFL who are currently starting rookie quarterbacks who are experiencing rookie quarterback results. Most of them are suffering the effects of, hey, you have a roster that was built to get you in a position to land a rookie quarterback. So it shouldn't come as a shock to everyone that the teams starting them are faltering. It shouldn't. The Browns, they're the Browns. First and foremost, they'll suck. Them sucking is like the sun rising in the east. It's always
the Browns should be a playoff team. If any other coach but Hugh Jackson was their coach, they'd be a playoff team. They are so talented.
Okay, when Greg Williams, how about this? Seagram's bet with all of your listeners here. Since you have such a high opinion.
Wait. No. You can't put a Seagram's bet on this podcast. We're under 21.
There we go. All right.
Well, you can have a Capri Sun. That's the comparable.
Exactly. Well, how about this?
I've been in college for about 3 months, Kyle.
Oh,
there
wow.
We go.
Yeah.
So we have a member here who can take a Seagram's bet.
Yeah, I can.
Here's what I'm going to say.
It's basically a wine cooler.
I'm going to say Greg Williams doesn't get more than 2 wins out of that roster for the rest of the season.
Okay, I'm not saying Greg Williams is better than Hugh Jackson.
Because it's not a good roster, and that's why they are where they are.
That's a lie.
But hang on, it's the same reason your team is where it is, because it's not a good roster, and you're starting a rookie quarterback. Just look at the numbers. Sam Darnold, 8 interceptions in the last 3 games.
Yeah,
8.
Not ideal.
No, it's not ideal. It's setting the rest of the team up for failure. But those interceptions and those problems are the same things Bills fans are experiencing with Josh Allen under center. When people say, well, he's not throwing picks, but he's also just spraying the ball around. He's not making impact throws. He's running more often than he's trying to make plays with his legs more than he is with his arms.
So exactly what every scout said about Josh Allen.
Exactly. And at the same time, Darnold throwing picks is exactly
why he was my 3rd quarterback.
So this is the point. Your struggles and our struggles and the struggles of the Browns and the struggles of the Arizona Cardinals, they're all the same. You're starting an underwhelming quarterback who's still getting used to the NFL. And at the same time, you have a roster that was built to earn a high-level quarterback in the draft. That's what it came down to. You guys in particular have some trouble spots in your offense. Our defense, for the Buffalo Bills, if I'm going to help you guys preview this matchup with the Buffalo Bills, it starts with the defense. When we talk about this, one thing it took Chris. Chris, do you want to tell them what it took you until Tuesday to realize?
Oh, it took me till Monday to realize, but we went. We both have season tickets. We were at the game on Sunday, and gentlemen, we left at halftime. We're not subjecting ourselves to any of this. And then I went home and laid on the couch for the rest of the night, and then I'm at work the next day, reading up on the game, and I'm in my head. I just think we just got obliterated by the Bears, 41 points. And then I looked, we gave up less than 200 yards.
We gave up less. 200 yards.
Mitch Trubisky only threw 1 touchdown in that game, right?
135 yards, 1 sack, and 1 interception, and a touchdown. We held their running game to 2.6 yards per carry, had 7 tackles for a loss, and 2 for no gain.
How'd you give up 41 points?
2 defensive touchdowns, and then we had 2 more turnovers, and I think that we gave them pretty good field position on both of them.
Both of those turnovers occurred within the 30-yard line.
Ouch.
So this is what you're looking at. When you guys talk about how much your offense struggles, the first thing your fans have to know about this upcoming Bills game is that you're going up against a defense that the secondary is built to take the ball away. And at the same time, the front 7, from where we started week 1, and if it's going to get better if Tremaine Edmonds gets out of the concussion protocol and can start, you've got a pair of linebackers in Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds who are
athletic,
really athletic and coming to form. And they're a perfect duo. When Tremaine Edmonds is at linebacker, he's 19 years old. He's one of the youngest starters in the NFL. At the same time, he's 6'5", 255. And he's from week 1 till now, he's grown in his understanding of the nuances of football.
I don't understand how you're in the NFL at 19 years old. I know he's 19. I scouted on that. I couldn't believe it when I read it. But, I'm going to be 18 when I graduate from high school.
Yes.
Well, maybe you're just not as smart as Edmonds.
I doubt that.
Well, no, we know that. I mean, we already knew that about that. But I kind of want to touch on something you just said. You talked about the Buffalo Bills defense being built on creating turnovers. I agree. I think Darnold will be in a little more trouble because. What? All right, I don't know. I think McCown as a veteran. I mean, I'm not saying McCown's an amazing player. I'm sure he'll have turnovers, and I'm sure this will be another slugfest. That'll make 4 straight weeks. We'll have to watch a shit offense. But the Jets on the defensive side actually have more turnovers forced than the Bills. And as you said, if they're facing Nathan Peterman, I mean, how much is that concern? I mean, is this literally going to come down to a defensive touchdown? I mean, whoever has more defensive touchdowns is going to win this game.
We had a Seagram. We just did our show. We have a Seagram's bet between Drew and I. I think the final score is going to be 12-9 Jets. So our Seagram's bet is that there will be no touchdowns in the game.
I firmly believe that your team is capable of scoring points against us, and there will probably be turnovers. That being said, one of them could come on defense. I don't know. Here's what I do know. If you're talking about how our offense is built, I can't really explain it. We're coming off a game where LaShawn McCoy, who has he's quietly been one of the best running backs in this division for the last few years, just in terms of consistency and production. He got held to 10 yards on 10 carries, 1.0 yards per carry, okay? For the first time in his entire career. That's the lowest he's had in his career when he's gotten 5 or more touches in a game. You're talking about an offense whose line is so poor that they can't get to the second level and block. And because of that, defensive coordinators have just flooded the box with defenders. There were plays against the Patriots on Monday Night Football where I'm in the stands and I'm watching the field, and I see that they don't even have a safety back. Both of their safeties are in the box. And we still ran headfirst into it because we knew we couldn't throw. That's the type of offense you're dealing with. So when points do happen, it's usually because of our special teams unit. Or it's because it's garbage time and your team is finally just, okay, we'll finally back the extra players out of the box and move away. That being said, your team as a whole hasn't been that impressive in either facet of the game. So I guess the question you have to ask yourself, are you comfortable that your offense can at least do enough to – because your defense is going to do a decent job against our offense because we are on pace to be statistically the worst offense in NFL history. You have to go back to almost the merger to see an offense that's done as poorly as this one. That's why we're at the bottom of every statistical category that exists. So the question you as a Jets fan have to ask is, can my offense just do enough? Can they just do enough to get over the hump? And can they not turn the ball over to a defense that's kind of built to take the ball away? That's where the matchup of the game is going to come down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Bates is
I think the Jets win pretty easily, honestly. We actually have a capable quarterback playing.
Okay.
We still have the best quarterback
I hope they don't.
in New York playing.
Did you just call Josh McCown the best quarterback in New York?
He might be right. I mean, based off last year.
He is.
Yeah, he's not wrong. I mean, Darnold at the start of the season would have been number one probably, but the past few weeks have been whether that's just been bad, terrible play calling or he's just regressed due to people around him or just tough matchups or whatnot. But yeah, right now I'd probably say McCown. But yeah, I agree with you guys on everything you said. I think that matchup is definitely the key, and I think that's the part of the game where it'll be most interesting to see how Josh kind of affects it. If Darnold was playing, I'd be afraid of another week where the Jets put up 10 points or 6 points and they just look terrible. I do feel really good about the Jets' defensive matchup versus the Bills' offense. And with Josh McCown playing, I actually agree with Kyle that I do think the Jets will win this game. I hope they don't. And I hope that Bills' defense. I mean, it sucks saying I hope the Jets don't win. I actually I don't know if it was Drew or Chris who said that it'll be a 12-9 game. I'll take that. I'll take no touchdowns and the Jets barely squeak out a victory, because that still means that the Jets could turn around to Sam Darnold and say, hey, the offense isn't entirely your fault. So So we'll see about that. Kyle, I cut you off on something. You're about to say something.
Hey, Chris, are you just Drew's ward tonight, or what's going on? Are you incapacitated? I mean, I've heard you say like 3 things, and half of them had to do with alcohol, which I'm not surprised.
Well, yeah. Do you expect me to know anything about football? I just produce her show.
Well, to be fair, you are an actor. You were in Teen Wolf, right? Is that the show that you were in?
I was an extra in Vampire Diaries. You're welcome.
Vampire Diaries.
Extra in Vampire Diaries, really?
Well, hang on. He also has if you go ever or in his living room, he also has a framed copy of it from the time he did a commercial with Alicia Keys.
Yeah, I was in an extra in a commercial for Samsung with Alicia Keys. Again, you're welcome.
Wait, when was this? How long ago?
Oh, Jesus, maybe 8 years ago.
Whoa, hey, we don't want to say that now.
Here's the worst part. Guys, in order to get this stuff,
I got to have headshots.
He had headshots done.
I believe I saw the headshots.
I've seen the headshots.
So during the Indianapolis Colts game, I found that. I was pissed off. I was mad. After the game, I've been drinking heavily all day, and I stumbled across these photos on his Facebook, and I laid on the kitchen floor of my friend's house and just laughed until my stomach hurt.
Hey, what do you guys have to do in Buffalo besides eat, complain, watch hockey, and cheat on your spouses?
Wings.
And Chris, that was a shot at you.
I'll tell you what, we have wings.
Yeah.
And we have the Bills, and we tailgate.
Yeah.
We tailgate harder than any Jets fan ever, and I'd be willing to put my title on the line.
Yeah, we get to the We get to the stadium at like what, 6:30 in the morning?
6:30 in the morning.
No. We beat you. We have L7 that shows up at 4 a.m.
Okay. Well, just
That's
because
a good point. But Kyle, I won't even get into this argument. I would guarantee that Bills fans tailgate way harder. I mean, they're
well, we do not have a documentary made after us. Oh, I found this Alicia Keys Samsung commercial. Let's see if I can see Chris in the background.
You probably can't.
That's really conducive to an audio platform, Kyle. I did find a headshot. Looking good, Chris.
I guess I have one question for you guys. Actually, I know it's your show, and I know that you guys run things, but
no, we have no direction at the moment. So just fire away.
I want to step in here, and I want to take a question. Todd Bowles. I think there's a Jets fan who posted on Deadspin the comment of what I think is the year, that every time he sees Todd Bowles' face on TV, he has the facial expression of someone who just found a surcharge on their cable bill. Like, he just has a scowl and a disappointed look on his face, and it seems to coincide with what you guys are doing on the field. Todd Bowles is a coach. I mean, he really hasn't ever had you guys in contention for anything. He seems to fit. We talked about it on our podcast tonight. Not only just Todd Bowles, there's multiple coordinators, and some of them have unfortunately been involved with rookie quarterbacks. Hugh Jackson. Right now, Sean McDermott, who's under fire by our fan base. Todd Bowles, who is under fire by his fan base. Coaches with inexperienced quarterbacks or rough quarterback situations. Adam Gase, he's another one of them. Some of these guys have upside. I mean, I look at our coach, Sean McDermott, and I say, okay, he took a team that everyone thought would get 2 wins and made the playoffs. Now, he took a team that everyone thought would be better, and he's got 2 wins.
Sounds like 2016 Jets.
Wait. I know I'm not always the closest listener to the public's opinion, but I think, Ben, I'm pretty sure we thought the Bills were going to be at least a decent team last year with Tyrod. And then this year I thought they were going to be absolute crap, which would make sense because they downgraded big time at quarterback.
I'm talking about the Bills fan base. Bills fans thought that last year.
I mean, every fan base is skewed. I will say that the thing that I respect about this podcast right now is we're both being pretpretty honest with the states of our franchises.
Absolutely. Bills fans thought that after we traded Sammy Watkins and traded away not Roby, Jesus, who was our cornerback there?
Oh, Ron Darby.
Ronald Darby, yeah.
We made those trades and then got rid of Marcel Darius. Everyone thought that was us waving the white flag, and we made the playoffs.
Yeah, I thought we were going to have what's happening this season. I thought was going to happen last season.
Exactly. Everyone predicted the collapse of the team, and instead the team hung together, won a handful in a row down the stretch, and somehow fell backwards into the playoffs. With that, this year, people thought, okay, well, there was a contingent of the fan base that said, okay, this team is going to be the worst. But then there's the contingent of the fan base that says, well, there's reason for hope. And it turns out everyone who fell on that side of the coin, myself included, got hit in the face with a shovel. Now, Jets fans on the opposite side of things, you have a coach who every year it seems like you guys are just kind of in the middle. And so I can understand the vitriol towards him. But this year, he was starting a rookie quarterback. And so you expect it to be bad, and it has been bad. But did you guys expect better?
Yes.
Why?
Because when you continue to leave an individual who not only threatens the safety of the most important player on the franchise, and then you say you don't have a real answer as to why you left him in the game, that's unexcusable.
Oh, that's fireable. That's fireable.
Yeah,
that's
so
fair.
But Eve, that's just one thing. I mean, we've been seeing the same, even when he went 10-6. So what you just described about the Bills, not necessarily our mindset going into it, but the whole, they made the playoffs, the high expectations for this year, and they've absolutely sucked. That was
us in 2016.
That was 2015 to 2016 for Jets fans. We didn't make the playoffs, thank you, Bills fans, but we did go 10-6. We had a very good season.
Fuck you guys.
And expectations were high heading into 2016, and they absolutely tanked, the fucking season. But Todd Bowles continuously, even when the Jets were winning, made the same mistakes. He's probably the worst clock managers I've ever seen. I mean, he continuously makes boneheaded decisions. Game decisions too, like when to punt, when to go for it on fourth, when to call timeouts, when to challenge. I mean, basic rudimentary things that I could do playing Madden. He just cannot seem to even little things. I think it was like 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in the play clock, and he had he had a timeout, and obviously the 2 minute was, or not the play clock, the game clock. And there was 2 minutes. It was the fourth quarter. So the 2 minute warning's approaching. There's 2 minutes and 10 seconds. No, I think he had one timeout. It was going into third down or whatever.
We're talking about
I don't remember the exact situation. He basically, what you should do in this situation is after the play, you call the timeout, you save the 8 seconds or so, and then you call the timeout again. Yeah, it was one timeout, Kyle, because I would have remembered. Anyways, he basically just burns 10 seconds off the clock and waits for the 2 minute warning. If anybody could follow what I was saying there, that wasn't very conducive. But anybody who watched the games knows what I'm talking about. He continuously does that. Where the Jets, they lost 10 seconds there. Did it really matter in the long run? No, but he's done that continuously. He's just a bad coach. He's just a bad manager. He's terrible with the press, which I guess isn't that important because Belichick's bad with the press, but even him saying, oh, I didn't know. He said, what did he say about Sam Darnold's injury? Like, oh, I don't know anything about it or something. He said something insanely stupid. Kyle, do you know what I'm talking about? On Monday or Sunday, where he was just like, a reporter asked about Sam Darnold being dinged up.
Oh,
and
he said he's
not, or something like that.
He didn't come up to him in the game or something. It's like it was clear that he was.
I don't even know. I'll give Sam credit for that. That hit happened in like the third quarter. He played the rest of the game on a foot sprain. But
here's what I'm saying. It sounds an awful lot like coach has no idea what he's doing. So I don't know how you guys plan on beating us this Sunday. I mean, I hear some confidence coming from your side of things, but then all you've done is talk about how little you think of it.
The reason why, but here's
because
the
you're
reason
starting
why.
Nathan Peterman.
Okay. Here's the reason why. The only reason Todd Bowles, I'm sorry to cut you. I'm going to give you time to defend yourself because I agree with you. I think that the Jets very easily could win this. I'm not with Kyle that I think the Jets are going to blow the doors off the Bills. The only reason I say that is because I think the Jets have a very, very good defense, and that's honestly all they're missing is a top-tier pass rusher, and I think they'd be top 3. Right now they're probably top 10, but they're very good. Their secondary is very good. They're great at getting turnovers. Todd Bowles is actually a very good defensive coordinator and draws up some pretty
probably getting Tremaine Johnson back too.
Yeah, they get Tremaine Johnson back, and they actually do get pressure on the quarterback with their front line. They're a good run defender, good run defense. They have a very good defense, and they're facing Nathan Peterman. That's the only reason I would say the Jets have a chance to win this game. Their offense is shit. Their offensive coordinator is shit. Their weapons are shit. Their offensive line's shit. Everything sucks on the offensive side of the ball, and I guess they don't have an edge rusher. And their coach sucks, but their defense is actually quite good and facing Nathan Peterman. That's the only edge I'd give to the Jets. But sorry, Drew, what were you saying?
Well, what I was going to ask is, can we call this the tale of two defenses? Is that what we can call this Sunday's game? The tale of two defenses? Whoever's defense scores more points wins this football game.
Exactly. It's going to come down to field position, field goals, takeaways. All it's going to be a defensive slugfest.
Oh, God. Well, I'll tell you what. To hell with you guys because you live in New Jersey, or at least you play in New Jersey. Which is...
You're very confused about where we live.
Oh, no, I know where you each live.
Yeah, Fahey, you live in Florida. I'll see you in February.
You also live in Florida where Florida has its own Twitter called Florida Man. I mean, I know what you're about. Ben Blessington, I'm not as familiar with where you're from, but I'll say...
It's from Portland, Oregon.
Oh, good. So everyone's nice and sedated. Everyone takes it easy over there. All right.
Football's on at 10 a.m. over there. But right now I'm in Syracuse, so I'm actually not too far from you, Drew.
I genuinely believe...
Yeah, come to a game, please.
We'll
give you a ticket.
All right. I'm considering going to a Bills game. Experiencing the Bills Mafia.
Probably for the rest of the season, because one of my fellow season ticket holders, his wife just broke her leg, and he has 2 small children. So we actually may have a free ticket when you guys visit New Era Field. You may
Thank
have
God she broke her leg. Kidding.
So with that said, guys, Sunday, here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Bills' offensive line. We just started shuffling. Now, this is something Jets fans don't know. We just started shuffling our offensive line around. For the first time, and it's a long time coming, but our coaching staff finally understands this needed to happen. We've started shuffling the offensive line. So now you're seeing rookies. You're seeing backups starting to get starting time. So it's changing the overall look of what we're throwing, because the line was built to run as a power offense. Run with power, run with a fullback, do these things, but they all suck at it. They haven't found anything that these guys can execute properly. So now you're throwing in backups. We really have no idea what we're going to see out of them. So that's one of the storylines of the game for me. What are you guys looking for, first and foremost?
My parents.
Okay, jeez, Kyle. Kyle, I've talked to it. What are you looking for the most?
A reason to live.
I'm going to take the mic back.
Fahey, you're never going to find one of those. You should just quit now. Walk-off home run.
I'm pretty sure I can report you for that one.
Kyle, a reason about the game. Come on.
Well, honestly, a reason to live. But what was the question? What am I looking for? I don't know. What are you looking
forward to see in the game?
Our wide receivers. I mean, Quincy Newell, Robbie, I really think that Josh McCown coming in will make this offense look kind of good. I'm not too concerned about it. I really do think one of the biggest problems, an exception to poor play design, is Sam Darnold, and I think Josh McCown's just veteranship, knowing how to run an offensive huddle and call plays on his own and not rely on Jeremy Bates being the little devil on his side, on his shoulder. I think that the offense will actually have a spark, and it will ultimately open up the run game. And Quincy Newell is definitely a start in fantasy this week.
Yeah, there's 2 things I'm looking forward to. Kyle kind of hit the nail on the head there. I'm looking to see, how much it's an experiment. How much, and granted, the Bills do have a talented defense, as you said, but
they do.
I'm looking to see how much better is this team, with the Josh McCown versus Sam Darnold. Just showing how far along is Sam Darnold these past 3 weeks, because we've seen the highs of Sam Darnold, now we've seen some of the lows. And I will say the thing that's interesting, Josh McCown has spent the entire season basically working as the quarterback's coach, working on the sidelines right next to Jeremy Bates. He's been in his ears. So, the chemistry between the two is going to be there. I'm excited to see that, or not excited. I'm interested to see how much difference is the offense when run by Josh McCown versus Sam Darnold. And then second, I'm excited to watch the secondary versus Nathan Peterman. I think that's going to be the one fun part of the game for the Jets fans. And for Bills fans, you could say the same thing, would be watching their defense versus our shit show of an offense. But I'm excited to watch Nathan Peterman, throw at, Jamal Adams or Morris Claiborne or Tremaine Johnson. I think that's going to be fun. But I think those are probably the 2 things that I'm watching. But as I said, I don't want Josh McCown to let it up, because I do not want Bowles clinging to him to save his job. All right, Kyle. Well, actually, I was pausing there. I was waiting.
Nobody responded?
Well, there's 4 people on a podcast. I was trying to pull back and let. We'll talk about. I guess we'll just go ahead and do some predictions or whatever, and then we'll move on. But Chris, Drew, I want one bold prediction about the game, and then you can give your final score prediction, who you think wins and whatnot.
My bold prediction, if I was going to start, I would say that the Buffalo Bills beat the Jets at home.
I'll kill myself.
That's my bold prediction. I think it comes down to a field goal. I said it on our show. I think that it comes down to untimely turnovers and a quarterback who hasn't taken an actual live snap. I mean, I get it. He's a veteran. I get it that he's been sitting with the offensive coordinator. You're talking about a guy who hasn't seen live action in weeks. They're going to put him out there, and I think there's going to be
riding a bike.
There's going to be some mistakes. There's going to be some miscues. And I think that's going to be the difference in the game. And I think the Buffalo Bills win this thing on a last-minute field goal.
Yeah, well, you're wrong. The Jets are going to win this game. It's going to be a game of field goals. Jets are going to win 12-9.
That's actually that's a good point.
It's good to know that you don't just get on your knees every time, Chris. Good for you.
I like the fact that Chris is projecting no touchdowns. That's what our bet for the game is. That there are 0 touchdowns.
There's going to be a touchdown. I think I agree with Chris that it's going to be incredibly low scoring. Drew, that's actually a good point that you brought up that I thought of. But when you say it out loud, the last live snap that he took one series in the first game of the preseason, and since then Josh McCown has not played. Now, granted, he did the same thing last year, but then he played week 1. But in the sense that he had a whole a month and a half since his last or a month since his first snap. Since his last snap. But yeah, I think certainly going to be some rust. Although he's practicing every day, I agree that I think there'll be some rust, especially the beginning parts of the game. As far as my bold prediction, yeah, I think that this isn't necessarily bold. I'll make it more bold. I'll say each team gets a pick 6, but I think the Jets will narrowly win. 16-13. I don't even know. All right, Kyle, your bold prediction and score prediction.
Bold prediction. I think Josh McCown throws for 200 yards, and score prediction: Jets 17, Buffalo 10.
So, a quick question for you, Kyle. If that happens, do you think Bowles is going to try to start McCown against the Patriots?
Oh boy.
Regardless of Sam Darnold's health, do you think he'll look at it as, we're 4-6, and we're not out of playoffs yet. My defense is playing lights out. I'm coaching for my job. Selfishly, I'd probably do the same thing, but it's not best. Obviously, not best for the future of the franchise. What do you think he'll do?
Is Todd Bowles that? Is he that idiotic? Does he want to get fired that bad? All it takes is a billboard. I know a guy to call to get a billboard up. I can make that happen.
Hey, Bills fans know something about that.
That and dildos. Chris, Drew, It was an absolute pleasure having you guys on the show.
That was actually tough. Oh, hey, we're not done then.
Okay. Well, I didn't know. Kyle, fine, take the mic, man.
Yeah, we're taking shots at each other now. Hey, what do you guys think about the comment that Kelvin Benjamin is one Popeye's biscuit away from being a tight end?
Oh, we talked about that on our show.
I not only agree with it, but I think the fact that he almost cried after the last game when reporters were talking to him, and he said, "I'm looked at to be one of the leaders on this team, and I just got to move forward one game at a time." Fuck you. Sorry, you know what? I've had enough. Where was any? You didn't feel that way through the last 3 weeks when you were giving 0 effort. I'll see you in hell, fat guy. Okay? Go. You might as well just. They're about to open up not only a Popeyes within a mile from the stadium, but they're also going to open up 2 Chick-fil-A's. Go to town, man. Have at it. I've had it.
You know who else didn't care when they were giving stuff out?
Who?
Magic Johnson.
Did Terrell Pryor do anything in your game? I didn't even check.
Yeah, you guys stole my favorite receiver.
Yeah, your favorite receiver? Well, apparently all the time that you gave him off, he learned how to play volleyball. Because the one pass that actually hit him where it should have, he literally set it as if someone was going to come and spike it, and instead a D-back just came and picked it off.
Kyle thinks that Terrell Pryor is good, and I don't know. I think he's just caught in 2016.
Right now, he's the best quarterback on the Bills roster. That's what I have to say.
Honestly. Wait, and by the way, is Josh Allen just out? Is he not? I thought he was going to be back for this week.
He's practicing. Nobody knows.
He threw 100 balls. He threw 100 balls at practice this week.
Oh, how many of them were out of bounds?
Not as many as Hackenberg.
How many of them hit reporters?
Not Hackenberg.
Hackenberg legitimately hit reporters, and that's the funniest thing about that. That's not even a joke. Reporters actually got hit.
Reporters.
Oh.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, well, I guess we didn't really account for Josh Allen playing, but it doesn't really change much. Nathan Peterman or Josh, I mean, I think Josh Allen's a bit of an upgrade, and you have to worry more about his mobility. But as far as turnovers and whatnot, facing
I'll tell you what, if Josh Allen is starting, go back and watch the tape of that Vikings game. Good luck. Good luck.
Hey, I mean, but if Sam Darnold was starting, I would say, hey, go look at the week 1 against Minnesota, or the game against Denver, or the game against the Colts, or any of those games. I mean, Darnold has had his plenty of bright spots. Last week was a bit of a low light.
Where he's thrown 8 interceptions in the last 3 games. Yeah, sure, I'll go back and watch that.
Yeah. Oh, these last 3 games have been terrible, but if you've watched every snap, you'd realize. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna say Darnold has low.
Sam has very. I'm not really a Sam fan. I think everybody knows that by now. He has very good moments, and he has very bad rookie moments that I fully expect. I expect him to work through them.
He's not getting any help. I don't mean to say anything from his offensive coordinator. I mean, it is predictable calling and some of the worst play calls. They'll give him they'll just go run, and then empty set wherever he's running, hitch.
Yeah.
So obviously everybody's just sending all out.
So dumb to put your quarterback in a 3rd and long situation with an empty set. For one, you're taking away not only safety and protection, but then safety out of the backfield on like a little swing route or something just as a dump off. Because
running back.
Because all these wide receivers are doing are 5-yard curls on 3rd and 10.
Yeah, he's not getting any help from the offensive coordinator or his weapons or his line. But I agree, he's going through some rookie pains.
Drew just got through a whole paragraph and we didn't hear a word of it.
You guys sound like me last year talking about Bill's offensive Rick Dennison.
Unhappily married.
Our current offensive line coach, who I may add, I think, glad you brought him up. Somebody on staff? Yes. Oh, wait, Drew, just wait. First of all, our offensive line is shit, and I was warned by a Bills fan. I said, we hired your former offensive coordinator. About that. Well, and he said, he's terrible. He's fucking terrible. And I was like, oh, that's good. But, Drew, this will make you laugh. I put out a tweet. I was like, well, if Bowles gets fired mid-season, I mean, who the hell would the Jets even promote? And I had at least 7 people in the mentions go, oh, Rick Dennison, he was an offensive coordinator. Yay! Did you guys Yeah, let's promote the shit offensive line coach who was a terrible offensive coordinator.
Chris,
these Bulls can coach defense.
What are your thoughts on the Jets promoting Rick Dennison?
Oh, I don't think it'll happen, but he'll get fired at the end of the year.
Yeah, you'd be better off firing Rick Dennison and firing him right now.
Firing him now before he has the chance to haunt you later.
His zone blocking scheme just does not work.
Rick Dennison is the first Bills offensive coordinator who I ever saw design plays. You think what you're seeing is bad? Holy shit. Last season with the Bills, I saw plays on 3rd and 7 where you linked option routes on the same side of the field for 2 different wide receivers, and they both ended up at the same spot. Both of them, it's like a basketball game. If you've ever played basketball and 2 guys forget the play and just run to the same spot, and now you've got 2 guys and 2 defenders.
Wait. First of all, if you actually run plays in basketball, you're...
Yes, because I played high school basketball.
Yeah,
you're like 5'6". What did you play?
What I played was left bench. I'll tell you this: there were seasons.
Wait, were you in Buffalo? Have you always lived in Buffalo? Okay, that makes sense. That's like asking Wyoming to produce itself.
This is why you should watch your ass. 5'10.5", 5'11", right? But I weighed over 200 pounds.
Yeah, you were fat. You still are.
I had a little hustle to my game, and at the same time...
You mean a little husky?
I scored 6 points a season, and I fouled out of every single game. That's by design. I knew my role. There's a reason I made the team every...
I like the muscle hamster. I like it.
I'm 5'9" and play basketball, but I'm 135 pounds.
Yeah, and so when a guy like you kept running the point, and they were like, oh, well, he's killing us in the lane. Okay, I need someone to go out there and commit a hard foul. Drew, you're useless. Get out there. That was my job. Defensive specialist. What I'll tell you is when you see in the NFL a play where two wide receivers are literally almost running into each other and there's two D-backs in the same spot. That's just a bad play design. That's what Rick Dennison did. Rick Dennison brought us a passing offense that literally had no organization to it. If that guy becomes your head coach, it might be one of the lowest moments since Broadway Joe wore that stupid fur coat to the Super Bowl.
Shit on Broadway Joe on our podcast?
Wait.
Really,
No. That might be lower than losing 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row, and then not retiring Thurman Thomas's jersey yet. That took you, 25 years too late?
Wait, we did that on Monday Night Football.
How many points did you guys score in the playoffs?
Hey, how many have you been to since the merge? Oh, wait,
How many have you? Okay, really?
We caused the merger.
It's just a one. Yeah, well, congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for you guys causing the merger and then winning a Super Bowl and thinking it's relevant. God, I hate the Jets, and I can't wait for Sunday. Chris, we better kick these guys' asses, or at least, like I predicted, win by a field goal.
I love the Jets, and I hope they lose. So.
Yeah, no. That isn't fair. I think we're both rooting for us to lose.
You know, that's fun, and we get to watch Darnold play more. So.
Your mentions, I'm going to haunt your mentions like, it's not going to be fun.
Do it,
Drew. I can just text your wife right now, and this can all
Drew,
be
I'm not heavily invested in this game.
I don't care. I'm an ugly man who married up. Listen, I don't give a damn.
That's true. That's true. Larissa is attractive.
Ugly man with big teeth, a crooked hairline, overweight.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? Let's go.
Buck teeth, wears glasses. I mean, lives in Buffalo. Dead end job, probably. No offense. But, I mean, it's just not a lot going for you.
No offense. See, maybe I'm old enough to do a job, though. That's the difference between...
I like how I went down the whole list, and I'm just like, yeah, no offense.
No, he's always looking to not offend somebody. Guys, for those of you out there in Jet Nation who are listening to this, I'm bulletproof. I don't care. I have no feelings.
Test that theory?
If you want to come at us on Twitter, you can find us at Rockpile Report. Go ahead, get at us during the game, after the game, once you guys stomp us out. It doesn't matter. We're going to interact. We're going to have a good time, and ultimately that's what this is all about, right?
Sure.
Yes, indeed, Kyle. I gotta take a really quick break for a second. Kyle, can you handle the show for a second? I just got a quick little. Yeah, sorry about that.
Ben's got to pee super bad.
No, it's actually a little. I have to make a call. I'm so sorry. I'll be back.
Oh, let's see if he actually mutes himself. I think he did. So Chris, what beer number did you say you were on?
I am on 4, finishing 4, going on 5. Drew's comfortably at 12. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, he was at 8 when we started.
Well, I mean, hey, he gets fired up, so beer starts flowing.
I want you to call an emotional drinker.
Oh. Okay, as long as the cops don't come to the house, it's fine, right?
Evan, and you call yourself a mathematician.
I don't. I'm an English person. I'm going to be an English major. I've never claimed to be a math person.
Yeah, you speak pretty good English, so you got that covered.
Yeah, you know, it's that Florida education.
So let me
ask. Ranked higher than the state of New York.
Questions for you. Since we're still here talking, I've got questions for you.
Go ahead.
You need to answer this.
Okay.
Your team.
Yeah.
When I look at Darren Lee.
Darren,
now,
friend of the podcast.
We have been famous for comparing him to former Buffalo Bill Keith Ellison, who was undersized. He was a tryhard. The guy gave 110% effort. He just wasn't big enough to really make an impact. He tried. He lasted for about 4 or 5. But he ultimately couldn't hold up long. So, where do you guys stand on Darren Lee? I'm really interested.
Okay.
Wait. We're going after Darren. I missed the first part of this.
No. They're not going after Darren. They just brought him up as a topic. I don't think they realize that he's been on the podcast and that we've become friends with him. And that he's our insight.
And he's dominating.
I know what your honest assessment of his play has been. Because
he's having a phenomenal year. I mean, he's having a very, very good year.
A lot about him. And now I haven't heard anything. It's turned into crickets. So I wanted, has he named, Because here's the problem with linebackers. Some linebackers click immediately. Some need time. We're seeing it with our own Tremaine Edmonds. Guy is a rookie. He's 19 years old, but he's built like a man. 6'5", 255. He's still learning the nuances of NFL football and in the process getting abused. I mean, you go up against a team like the Patriots. Tremaine Edmonds didn't know where to get set up in pass protection. And because of it, he gave up over 100 yards passing. Alone, just him. Because he didn't know where the safety was going to be behind him, and he didn't have a feel for how the offense was setting up. And that's the mark of a young player. Deron Lee comes in. He's undersized. He's a small linebacker who's better suited for coverage than he is for coming downhill and filling run gaps. And in his first 2 years, he really had a hard time deciding what was the proper gap. And that led to a lot of big gains in the rushing attack because he was never in the right place. This year, he started off on the right page. He got going early, quickly. He was making dynamic plays in football games. I saw his name flashing constantly, and I'm like, holy shit, this guy is pulling it together for the first time in his career. And then I stopped hearing about him. So what happened after week 4 or 5? Has he maintained that high level of play?
Yeah, no, he's playing phenomenal. He's playing statistically as a top 10 linebacker in the NFL. I don't think he's a top 10 linebacker in the NFL, but he is in on almost every play. I think the addition of Avery Williamson has really helped him. He doesn't have to worry about play calling or anything, and Avery's holding down the fort on his end. He really looks like he has just clicked and become acclimated to the NFL speed. He's always had the athleticism, and despite his 5'10", maybe 5'11" stature, he's been able to take guys down. I mean, we see him go head-on with the likes of Frank Gore. He's coming in on nice little blitzes. Him and Brandon Copeland switch on stunts all the time. I mean, he's super effective in coverage and in the run game, and he's playing like a first-round pick. He's looking like one of the better first-round picks of that draft class as of right now. Can he hold it up for another season? I hope so, because I really think that for Darren, it was just a mental thing those first 2 years, not being able to conceptualize an offense in his head. He's always had the athleticism to be close enough to a play to at least look like a very talented individual, and now he's just putting it all together right now on a mental and physical level, and it's fantastic play. All the picks except Sam Darnold right now, and he obviously still has a lot of time left, but all the first-round picks that Mike McCagnon have made are playing at a very high level. Jamal Adams, Darren Lee, and Leonard Williams are arguably the 3 best players on the team. I think a lot of people would say Jamal is the best player on the team right now, and they're probably top 3. I mean, in that order. Jamal, probably Leo, then Darren, all playing at a very, very high Pro Bowl level, and Leo gets a lot of hate for absolutely no reason. I think people just love to hate on picks. They hate on him. Leo is a dominant player who continues to do very well every week, and actually really proud of the defensive picks, and Todd Bowles for coaching them well. I will give Bowles credit about that. His defensive players are usually right.
Yeah, well, Fahey, we got to get on out of here and edit the podcast and go to bed because we're adults and we have normal jobs.
It's
can't be like
9:17.
you and have to report to Arby's at 11 a.m.
Do you think I work at an Arby's?
He's a senior in high school.
You look like you eat a lot of Arby's.
You guys haven't seen me lately, huh?
No.
Yeah.
No, he's actually. I give Kyle credit.
I'm like
good.
And grew one of those tiny little mustaches.
I have abs now. So.
Kyle hit the Todd Bowles diet.
135 pounds is not having if you're skinny and you have abs, I'm sorry, that's not impressive. That just
like tits on a fat girl.
That's exactly.
We're gonna have to scrub that.
That is the joke I was going for. High five from long distance from the Rockpile Report. You're the best.
I've heard it because somebody said it to me because I have abs as a skinny guy. And I was like, oh, look at my abs. They're like, that's not impressive. And then they said that, and I was like, there goes my self-esteem.
Thank you so much for having us on your podcast, guys.
Yeah, Ben.
Pleasure.
Did you get yourself off this spot? That's amazing.
Well, I was booting him off earlier, and you brought him back. But anyways, Drew, Chris, it was an absolute pleasure having you guys on the show. We'd love to have you guys on again at some point. It's always fun having you guys on. If you guys would like to follow the Rockpile Report, they're obviously a funny duo. You can follow at Rockpile Report, on Twitter, and you can also find their podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. Chris, Drew, thank you so much for joining us, man, and I hope you guys have a nice weekend, and let's hope for a somewhat mildly interesting game this Sunday.
Yeah,
we'll see you in December when you come up for the Jets game.
Yeah, let us know. We'll give you a ticket.
All right. Is the game against? Oh, the game is in Buffalo. Sorry, when they said that, all of a sudden I was like, wait a second, isn't this game in Buffalo? But Kyle,
it's not.
No, it's in New York. I forgot it's a home game. Well, Kyle, you should try to come up. Go watch the Jets Bills.
I'll just come right now then. I mean,
we'll use all your Arby's money. This show, if you listen to the show that we ran maybe a year ago, when everything was very clean, this was whatever, who cares?
Next week's our 100th episode.
Next week is our 100th episode, except we probably recorded 120, so...
Yeah, but
probably more.
We're going to get everybody on, right? Like, everybody?
We got to get a lot of people on from TOJ, and then we'll work on the rest, I guess.
Try and get Manish back on, because he did a really good job.
I kind of want to text him and be like, yo, what's the deal on the Sam Darnold injury, because...
Yeah, I mean, it's a bye week.
Should I go to the Jets-Patriots game, or should I wait?
I don't know. Let's try and get Manish. Let's try and get Darren. I don't know if Darren will come on, because it's in season. We can't promise that.
Why are you over-promising? We're going to end up with, like, Scott. Under-promise, over-deliver. We'll do our best in the next few weeks to get some guests. But Rockpile Report, very, very funny duo.
They'll probably be on next week. We'll get like all of our friends from. We'll try and get
Mark. How much time do you think we have? We're going to talk to what? We run a 2-hour podcast.
I have an idea. It's we can either do like a roast or we can do like an honor ceremony. We have them on each for 10 minutes. We'll have set times for them to call in. We'll get Travis, get Mark, get Scott, get Joe, get DA.
That's actually not a bad idea. I think including, well, we'll see. Oh, Rob Carpenter just replied. Oh, well.
Yeah. I just saw that.
Twitter people.
All right.
Okay, so let's hop into some Miami breakdown, or we'll just kind of phrase it as State of the Jets, because we already talked about Miami. We'll just talk about State of the Jets right now. We'll break that down. We can talk about, whatever, and then we'll wrap the show up. Okay, what did he say?
He's just reiterating what he's been.
So pre-snap, what is he doing? If you tell me that a guy can't figure out the coverage in front they have or where to go with the ball, then he shouldn't be playing. He took his eyes off the defense for half a second. Curse is open right in front of him. Okay, so the debate that Robin Carpenter and I are having right now is the play that Sam Darnold got injured on, which was another bad Spencer Long snap. And it was the play that it was actually one of the Jets' most positive plays of the game because they got a face mask and the Jets moved 15 yards ahead on a third down. But it was a third and long. It was out of the empty. Brian Baldinger criticized the shit out of this and was just like, why are you putting your rookie quarterback in this situation? After already quite a few bad Spencer Long snaps, this is what happened. Anybody who watched the game would somewhere remember it. So, Spencer Long hits Sam Darnold basically in the feet, puts him on the ground again on a snap. So Sam Darnold has to scoop it up, and the Dolphins send 8 guys, 7 or 8 guys. They send everybody. So in 3 seconds, Sam Darnold just gets sacked by 5 Dolphins and loses his helmet, and that's the play that he actually hurts his ankle on. So my point was, or I believe the original tweet was something like, this is how coaches get fired, was because Bowles hadn't pulled Long, and if Long, bad snaps led to his quarterback getting battered all the game, and as a result, he got injured. And I agree with that. And Rob Carpenter disputed that, saying the snap didn't play at all. And I was like, really? In a 3-second play for a rookie quarterback and a third and long out of an empty facing, an all-out blitz, you don't think taking at least, a second to look down, pick the ball up, catch it, pick it up, and then put your eyes back up and try to read, okay, what's happening now that it's live, and make a read for a rookie quarterback? You don't think that threw off his rhythm at all? And I was like, really? You don't think that? I'm not saying it's entirely, the entire play was entirely Spencer Long's fault, but if you're going to tell me that Spencer Long doesn't have any blame, and as a result, Todd Bowles doesn't have any egg on his face due to Sam Darnold getting hurt in the fight, then you
that isn't what I would have used.
Yeah, if the ball is in Sam Darnold's hands, quickly, he doesn't have to think about it. He can look up, he can make his read, and he throw it. And the thing that is ironic about this is Carpenter's first argument was that there was no receivers open. What was he supposed to do? And then when I pointed out Curse was open, now he's saying we should have hit Curse. I was like, well, he's changed his argument like 3 times. I like Rob Carpenter. I'm not one of those fans who shits on him because he only had like 1 touchdown. I will say Jude's tweet saying Rob Carpenter said you never played a snap in the NFL, so sit down. And Jude on Twitter, I don't know, I'm talking about him like he's a celebrity, said, well, so what, you have 1 more touchdown than me.
I'm so happy that I'm blocked by Jude. Like, I had one conversation with him, and I just attacked him out of the blue because I wanted to get blocked. I was like, what is it like to be a 40-year-old man who criticizes quarterbacks on Twitter with no future? And he blocked. That was it. That's all it took. So.
Anyways, undoubtedly Spencer Long snaps threw off Sam Darnold on multiple plays. He now, as a rookie quarterback, has to think, where's the snap going to be? And on that specific play, he had to look down, pick the ball or catch it, pick it off the ground, look back up, and the rush is already in his face. Yes, could he, if he was Aaron Rodgers, could have been like, oh, boom, flick it right to Jermaine Kearse, but he's a rookie quarterback. If he had the extra second to make that decision, then he probably would have hit it, and as a result, might not have gotten hurt. That was all I was saying. And as I was saying, yes, Bowles deserves some blame as well because he didn't pull Long, and Long deserves some blame because he had a shit snap, and the rest of the offensive line deserves blame because they all got beat. But I don't really. Rob Carpenter's argument is that what was he doing pre-snap, and he identified what was happening. It was that his processing is all slowed down, and all his rhythm is slowed down because he has to pick up the ball. Anyways. Oh, God. Okay. A few topics that we'll hit through, and then we'll get out of here. We already kind of talked about Todd Bowles. I think we've both made it clear that, Todd Bowles should be fired. I've said that Todd Bowles should be fired for a while.
Can we say it in the same voice? At the same time?
Yeah, sure. Okay, ready? 3,
2,
1.
You're fired.
Fired. That was terrible, Trump. I can't, do it. I just
fired.
Can't do it.
You're fired. You scum. You're bleeding from everywhere. You're fired.
Sure. But, I believe that the Jets should clean house and just fire McCagnon and Bowles. I think it's more likely that they'll fire Bowles and keep McCagnon. But I would fire Bowles, McCagnon, promote Hermandinger, whatever I can now pronounce his name to save my life.
Hermandinger.
You keep... Okay, we're dangerously close there. You keep the scouting staff in place, and some of the.
Oh, that's bad.
It's okay. It was obviously an accident. You didn't say it, so it's fine. You keep your department in check, and you keep some of the positive things. And obviously, everybody's talking about this guy as a future GM, as a genius, the savant behind the trade up and a lot of the Jets' best moves. Yes. McCagnon has hit on his. Sorry about that cough. McCagnon has hit on his first-round draft picks for the most part, but he's absolutely whiffed on his mid-round picks and for the majority of his free agent signings. Only positives has been trades and first-round draft picks, but you cannot. Look, if the Jets had drafted, not Ardarius Stewart or Chad Hansons or Justin Burris's or Christian Hackenbergs.
Y'all gotta stop talking crap about my boy Ardarius like that. He was not given a fair chance.
He was given a fair chance. I'm more about Chad Hansen because he was actually showing something, and we just cut him. And now we have Deontay Burnett, who I like, but, didn't Chad Hansen show more than Deontay Burnett? But whatever. I like Deontay Burnett, but I'm just saying, I feel like we cut ties with Chad Hansen a little
If
quick.
you say Deontay Burnett one more time.
What's his name?
No, I'm just saying it's an annoying name, and you keep, saying it.
Sorry. My apologies. But, yeah, I don't know. He's just not a very efficient GM. And I said, in order to win a championship, you have to be firing on all cylinders. And could a Mike McCagnon-led team make it to the playoffs? Yeah, they have a pretty good defense. You give him $100 million, he'll hit on some stuff. But look what he did last year with $100 million. Long sucks. Jermaine Johnson's been injured every week since, week 2, week 3?
Yep.
And wasn't particularly amazing in those games. I think Jermaine Johnson will prove to be an okay signing. But, again... who else? Terrell Pryor cut. Isaiah Crowell has had a few good games and otherwise been pretty mediocre. Anybody else that Avery Williamson's been good.
Drafted Sam Darnold.
Yeah, and Sam Darnold in the first round. And look, I think his drafts have gotten better, but I don't know. I think part of that is due to the increased power that, but I'm not in the organization. I don't think I should be making statements. The report from Albert Breer is that Hermendinger, is behind the trade up, so I'm giving him credit for that. And obviously Mac had something to do with it too. I like some of the stuff Mac does, but I'm just saying, I feel like in this situation that the Jets are in, we're kind of in limbo, and I think you need to swing for the fences. You've drafted your rookie quarterback, the guy that is the hope for your franchise. You don't want to half-ass it. And I think with McCagnon, you're kind of, I don't know. I think you should swing for it and go for a guy like Hermendinger and hope he's the next big thing and fire Bowles and try to hire, see if you can, lure Lincoln Riley away from Oklahoma. That's not going to happen. I'm spacing on the Chiefs offensive coordinator name. I think that's probably the most option. I'm trying to, starts with a B. I can't pronounce it.
Eric
Bieniemy.
Bieniemy.
It's Bieniemy. Bieniemy. Okay. Well,
what about the Saints offensive coordinator?
Let me look at the name.
Carmichael. He's been there for like 10 years.
Peter Carmichael.
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially. I think they should. They're going to go to the offense. The Chiefs. I'm just going to call him the Chiefs offensive coordinator for now until I get the official pronunciation. More intriguing just because of what he's done with Patrick Mahomes this season and kind of the offense that they're running. But there's plenty of other options, and it's actually a good year to look at to get an offensive coach. So I think that's the route they should go. Other kind of future question, Le'Veon Bell, Kyle. The Jets are going to have $100 million.
Did you see a tweet?
Cap. Again, I've seen these tweets come.
Did you see his tweet from tonight?
The ones that were upside down?
Yeah. Ben, it took me a long time. I'm not going to lie.
I just saw NFL Update tweeted out what they meant. He just took a notes, and I was like, I just read those.
I saw one. They put it in the Google Translator, and it said that James Conner was better. I thought that was pretty funny.
That is funny. Well, anyway, the Jets are going to have $100 million in cap. Goes, well, where are you going to spend it? The report from Manish Mehta was the Jets are all in on Le'Veon Bell and Dante Fowler. I'm actually certainly intrigued by adding Dante Fowler or any other pass rushers. I think the Jets should enter free agency and completely redo the offensive line, add some weapons, get an edge rusher, and then fill out some depth or whatever, add another corner or whatever you feel like you need to do. But the defense really, outside of one outside linebacker spot, is pretty settled. Potentially another corner. Well, they're going to have to add at least another corner for depth purposes to add a drafted guy that can potentially move up when Claiborne or Jermaine Johnson goes. But if Johnson continues to take, you'll need another corner. But as it's set right now, just really that outside linebacker spot is the only hole in the Jets' defense. Offense, you have holes at both guard positions, the center, and probably the left tackle too. Although you could go into next season.
Under the podcast.
Be okay. Because I think Beacham's actually an okay tackle. He's an average left tackle. But the entire interior of the offensive line needs to be replaced. You have to add a number one wide receiver. You have to get you just have to have difference makers. So Le'Veon Bell is a guy who is a difference maker, not just a running back. He's also a receiver. He can do a lot of things. And also, Chris Herndon's going to continue to emerge, so I'm excited about that. Again, I think the Jets will be much better in 2019. But, Kyle, whatever that prelude was, do you think it's worth paying Le'Veon Bell the monster contract that he's going to get?
I'd rather spend it on offensive linemen.
Well, the Jets will have the second most cap space, so you don't think there's a situation where the Jets could spend money on Le'Veon Bell?
You could if you want to, but I think you can also find a running back in the draft.
So you think the Jets, or like Tevin Coleman or somebody in free agency?
That would be nice. I like Tevin Coleman. Get rid of Isaiah Crowell, get rid of Bilal Powell, keep Elijah McGuire, keep Trent Cannon, sign Tevin Coleman, and draft the power back in the draft, like a true running back, because Tevin Coleman is a good running back, but I consider him more as a weapon than a running back.
Okay, so I looked up 2019 free agents for offensive line. There's not too many. I know Paredes.
Matt Paredes.
I got it right. I remember that I messed it up the first time when I said it last week. He should be top priority, even though he broke his fibula or something, so he probably is out for the year. Add him as a center, and then two guards. I'd have to look more to make a accurate, prediction. And maybe we won't be drafted. I don't know. And yeah, you also have draft picks, 2 third-round picks in the first. You could potentially trade down in the first and pick up a second again. I don't know. The team has a lot to work with, and I think they'll be a playoff team next year, despite what we've seen the last 3 weeks. I think the defense is very good and added edge rusher, and I think they're top 3 defense in the league. And the offense is just young and has some holes, but the holes can be addressed this offseason. I'm not too worried. It's not in years past where it's been like, oh, we're trotting out Clyde Gates, Geno Smith, Chris Johnson, and Kellen Davis. Like there is a considerable. You have your franchise quarterback, which is the hardest piece to find. For the first time in a while, you have a franchise tight end, it looks like. Chris Herndon's rated as one of the top rookies from PFF. You have some nice pieces. I think Robbie Anderson's a terrific deep threat. I think Quincy Nunez is a terrific slot receiver, kind of your yards after catch receiver. And I like little pieces like Elijah McGuire. I think he's solid. I think Jordan. Wow, that was actually one of your better ones. Jordan Leggett is kind of a backup tight end, and Neil Sterling, kind of like little pieces like that. But you need to add a number 1 wide receiver. You have to add, a consistent slot guy, because I picture Nunez more as the number 2. You need to add an entirely new offensive line, and Darnold just has to continue to grow. But anyways, I don't know. I think if the money's there, I'd give it to Le'Veon just because he's so versatile and he's still pretty young. And where else are you going to spend the money? You need difference makers and you need playmakers.
You sounded so like serial killer the way you said that. You're like, because he's so versatile, we have all this money. You're like so excited. You're like,
I was trying to say it all in one breath because I could feel a cough. I could feel a cough coming up, so I was trying to say it all in one breath. But anyways, we already gave our predictions about the Bills game. We touched on Bulls, Bell.
I don't think that was the way you should have phrased that.
What did I say?
We touched on Bulls.
I mean, I didn't think about it like that, but all right. Lastly, I guess we'll just close for this. Kind of your thoughts on the direction of the team. That was kind of what I was talking about, but where do you see this team heading? I mean, obviously there was a lot of positive optimism after Week 1, even after the week games against the Colts, Broncos. We have this let me rewind. We have this very good young quarterback. All right, everybody knows what I meant. We have a franchise quarterback. We have some young people. I mean, people were feeling really good about the Jets. These past 3 weeks have been discouraging. Sam Darnold, I'm sorry about these coughs.
Christ, Tom Hardy, calm down.
That was actually a good reference there. But, Sam Darnold has regressed over the past 3 weeks. That doesn't mean a permanent regress. I mean, he's played worse the past 3 weeks. Doesn't mean he's not going to bounce back. Carson Wentz had plenty of games like that his first year. Andrew Luck did. Peyton Manning did. It's fine. I still think Sam Darnold's going to be a good quarterback in this league. And I don't think the Jets should bench him for Josh McCown or anything. But I mean, what are your thoughts? These past 3 weeks have been pretty discouraging, especially for the offense. I mean, the coaching, Darnold, the rest of the offense, McCagnon, the direction of the team. I mean, where do you see this team going in 2019 and beyond?
2019, hopefully we're under the leadership of a new head coach. And, I really don't think it would take a lot to make the playoffs with this team. The defense is really good. Like, this defense has Leonard Williams, who I think will be a Pro Bowler this year, Jamal Adams, who will be a Pro Bowler this year, and Darren Lee, who may not have the recognition but should definitely be a Pro Bowler this year. And then we have guys like Tremaine Johnson and Marcus May, who are consistent, high-level starters that we can depend on, when they're healthy. And then we have guys like Henry Anderson and Nathan Shepard on the defensive line, who I know can hold down the fort, and obviously Avery Williamson was a nice signing at linebacker. The defense is pretty much a whole. I would just like an opposite edge rusher of Jordan Jenkins, because Jordan Jenkins is actually having a nice quality year as a run defender, and as a pass rusher when asked to. He had the nice 2 sacks last week. I think he's up to 4 or 5 on the year. He's probably the leader in the team. So all I want for this defense is a pass rusher right now, and just like an above average one. If we could get like DeMarcus Lawrence, that'd be phenomenal. If Nick Bosa fell to us in the draft, that'd be like a dream scenario for me. Or maybe a guy like Josh Allen, who not only could be a really good coverage linebacker, but also a really good edge blitzer. There's tons of possibilities there, but I think the Jets need to heavily invest in the offensive line and weapons around Sam Darnold. I would like to focus on the offensive line first, because I think Quincy Nunez and Robbie Anderson, both time remaining with the franchise, are good enough to succeed with. Obviously, it could be better. I have always said that Quincy Enunwa is a number 2 receiver. That has always been my,
and a very good one, I will say. He's a very unique and good number.
Yeah, and nothing against Quincy. I just feel like his role is better suited as a number 2. That's just my opinion. And Robbie is obviously the burner who you can't rely on, and exception to like 3 or 4 routes, in my opinion. So I think we have solid pieces. We just need to get a number 1 receiver and build that O-line. I think left tackle and right tackle are fine for now. I wouldn't be upset if we kept Brian Winters for another year, but I think Spencer Long and James Carpenter, definitely need to go. And if we make those moves, I think we can easily make the playoffs. Like, as I said earlier, or actually I said it before the show started, but Ben, when we were talking earlier, I said in reality, if Sam Darnold was in year 2 and he has made through those rookie mistakes, this team has 2 or 3 losses at most. We should not have lost the Dolphins game. We should not have lost the Vikings game. Should not have lost the Bears game. Should not have lost the Browns game. I mean, those are 4 wins right there that I think we should have, and if we had a competent quarterback play, we definitely would have had. So I don't think it's going to take a lot for this team to be successful. A new head coach is a definite, and a new offensive line is a definite.
Yeah, I agree. I think everything you said there. I think it's challenging right now, but long term, looking at the big picture, I think this team is, at the end of the day, will be heading in the right. I think it is heading in the right direction. I think they need to make some leadership changes, but I don't think they're too far away from competing. All right, that's where we're going to wrap it up. A big thank you again to the Rockpile Report podcast for joining us. They're always a fun bunch. Big thank you to you guys for sticking with us and listening to us throughout our inconsistencies and, I guess, today our cursing. But thank you for continuing to I'll take that one. I've struggled to manage time at college and record the podcast and upload it on time and whatnot. This is not on Kyle. This is on me. So I sound like Rex Ryan right now.
Big of you, Ben. It's very big of you. Unlike your penis.
It's like Rex Ryan every time he just trot out there. This is my fault, and then that was actually not a terrible Rex Ryan, and then they continue to get their ass kicked. But anyways, so we thank our listeners just for being there. And again, you can follow us at the Jet Take on Twitter. You can listen to our show anywhere you listen to podcasts: iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, or Stitcher, or wherever. And you can also find our podcast at turnonthejets.com, the best place to go for Jets content. You can find our podcast there. Other podcasts, written content, just literally anything you want there. All right, that's going to do it for us. We'll end it there. I want a Jets win, but I hope McCown doesn't play that well. I guess I'll put it that way, because I want to see Darnold, and I don't want to cause a faux quarterback controversy or, wreck Darnold's confidence or something. I just keep it ugly for one more week, Jeremy Bates, I guess. Anyways, let's hope Sam Darnold gets healthy. Let's hope he's back in the field soon. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Jet Take. We'll be back live next week, 100th episode, 8 o'clock Eastern. You can call in, be a caller on the show, 514-439-1285 with the PIN, 261-860 with the pounder hashtag. We were welcoming back callers. All sorts of just sounds I'm making tonight, coughing and hiccuping, and geez, it's really a rough night. You can call in, bring back callers. 100th episode, call in, be there. You don't want to miss it. We'll figure out what we're going to do throughout the week. Thank you so much. Talk to you guys next Wednesday, live, 8 o'clock Eastern Time.
Kelvin Benjamin's fat.